Sko's untold truth. I'm actually curious about this because we didn't speak about this too much.
Hey guys, Sko here, and Preach has just released a video here called The First Fall of Method, Legacy of WoW. So I thought I'd watch it and give my own thoughts.
Seems more topical.
What he's saying about this this whole thing.
One of the most startling moments in raiding history took place. Over the course of 24 hours, the champions, the reigning, dominant, multi-year heroes Method, lost practically their entire roster.
Wait. Okay, let's see. Let's see the roster. I guess this is the roster that was probably taken from like the Archimon kill, which was the most recent world first that we had before the Serenity split happened. Lots of old names here, guys. Actually, a few that I can't remember. I can't remember Gaunt. Let's see the rest. Yeah. So who's still playing today?
I wonder how many of it is account shared.
Zelia. Viklan's still playing, just not in any of the Race to World First guilds. Perfecto. Just Wait still does some stuff.
Not that I give a fuck about it. I'm just saying.
Brand,
back then, like Avi used to do it as well.
That's it, actually. Or not.
As far as I know, the people that stuck with Method was Sko, Just Wait, Perfecto, and Roger. Everybody else left.
Not that many players still playing, guys, huh? I guess I'm still here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Five players still involved.
Jimmy, he's forgetting.
Barak was a really good
I mean, Viklan is playing, but in advance, he's not reading for World First.
healer, actually.
Practically their entire roster just vanished.
Not as good as Zelia, though.
Gentlemen, we're going to take you on a journey of one of the most pivotal moments in raiding history. This is the beginning of when everything changed.
Reach is looking good, by the way. Untold WoW
So what
histories,
happened
or
then? They were the champions. There was nowhere else to go. Well, unfortunately, as we have proven many, many times in this series, being at the very high end.
I mean, Paragon was our way place to go, right? But I think they were 10-man. And 25-man, I think there was nowhere else.
Guild, whatever, does not make you immune to the same.
Was Paragon 10-man on Archimon tier? I don't even know. The difference, by the way, they Method 1 Archimon versus Paragon, the big difference was that Method used the radar VCAR, if people remember that. I don't know if Preach is going to get into that, but whereas Paragon did not have a radar VCAR.
Problems that happen in your normal, casual, friendly raiding guild as well. You see, all these things have one thing in common. They're full of people. And people have all kinds of opinions on all kinds of things.
that is true, actually, guys. There's a lot to be said about managing a WoW guild at any level. Like, obviously, back in the day, it was like 40-man raiding. So
okay, let's see it.
Size has dropped, but the management required has obviously moved up a lot as the competition's gotten a lot tougher and tougher. And yeah, I mean, as you can imagine, when you're playing with some of the best players in the world, you know, there's a lot of interesting personalities over the years, a lot of egos. So yeah, it's people management skills for like guild leaders and raid leaders and whatnot. And it's like, yeah.
It's very interesting. It's not like everybody is a problem child or anything, but and like some people, it's like they are complete soldiers, dude. You put them on the task, you won't hear anything from them. They will sit there for years in your team and just blast. It's insane, actually. Like someone like Revis, right? Revis was in my team before we even merged with Method. I think it was during MOP he joined. Like 3 tiers into REM or something. To this date, he is still just blasting, guys. I have not heard any complaints from this guy. It's incredible. And then there are others, they join and, you know, during the trial period, most of them are passive. They don't have much to complain. But as soon as they get Raider or maybe like a year after, suddenly it's like bang, 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 bang. They have a problem with fucking everything. And it's insane. And you, at some point, like, you stop leading the guild. You're just babysitting this guy and responding to this guy, and it's like they are your CEO or something, you know. And it's just, at some point it's just like, this makes no sense. Just fuck off, you know. But there is everything between that spectrum. Give names, no names, no names. No name. Only good names, examples. So Revis is a good example for sure. Let's see who else we have since a long time. Mason is not a long time, but he also is, like, not only is he a pumper and just does his job, he also is just happy always. I've never seen Mason mad about anything. It's actually incredible. That is a really cool skill to have. Like, Mason can get along with fucking anyone, dude. It's insane. I love these kind of people. Just maybe too silent, but, you know, I guess maybe they have something in common. They're both silent. Most silent people are quite chill. Not all of them. Some silent people will go behind people's backs and just like DM from person to person, like, oh, this guy sucks. Man, they fucked it up again. I hate this shit place. Like, you'll have things like this. Perfecto, I wouldn't say Perfecto is always happy. That is not how I would describe him if I had to. But he's generally, like, I wouldn't say happy, but like, what's the right word? He's like, he understands our decisions, and like, you know, things might be no, it's like things may be rough at times, but he understands and he knows it is what it is, you know. His old Servo, I would say Servo is generally very happy and like tries to make things work as well. And Servo also has this responsibility that, like, if something goes wrong, like he tries to fix it himself as well to a degree. Depends on what it is, though. Yeah. But anyways, let's not go too crazy like person per person personalities here. But yeah, there is definitely. I wouldn't say call it high, like big egos necessarily, but very different kinds of people. Also, this is what I tell myself, but you need to think about it like this. And I don't mean it in a bad way necessarily, because I'm one of these people. We're all people in the team that didn't go out and worked really like full-time jobs ever. Most of us are people who were WoW addicted and like PC gaming addicted that turn into these esports players. So a lot of people lack the self-discipline to do things, or they don't want to deal with hardships because, or like if something is boring, right? Like let's say it's 10 hours into a boss strategy talk. At some point you're like, fuck this shit, right? You know, there are people who went and studied or did full-time jobs where they had to deal with this kind of stuff. And then there are people who've just been gaming all their life. So, okay, 10 hours may be too long, but it feels like 10 hours. And others are full gaming in their life, so they don't want to deal with this stuff. They just want to have fun. So it's definitely a bit harder because of that as well, I think. We all have aspects of our jobs we hate. It's life, though. Yeah, it's just these people didn't sign up to this as a job. They wanted to just have fun, and now it became a job somehow. And a lot of people can get lost in that a bit. Spoiled child. You could compare it to that, yeah. I mean, if you're comparing it to like third world, yeah, we're all spoiled children, I guess. You know, there's always harder lives and easier ones. To be fair, there are a few people in the world who could fully focus on 10 hours. I didn't mean actual 10-hour strategy, guys. Okay, let's keep going.
They probably have pretty good people management skills that are probably quite transferable actually as well. Like I remember when I applied for like my first internship, like at university.
Okay, sorry, I need to interrupt as well. A lot of people also think there's only one way to lead people. Like this, you do this, and then you're a good leader. there is so many ways. You can be incredibly strict. You can be like an angry leader. You can be a really soft guy that tries to help everyone and listen to their personal lives and whatever. You can be the logical guy and have no more mercy at certain situations. There's so many ways. And guys, it is fucking fine. Like, the amount of times I was told, like, this is not how a CEO should act. Are you a CEO? No. So shut the fuck up. Are you like owning a sick company or something? Like, what are you talking about? People have their own styles and it's fine. It's okay. I don't care how Skull leads this company. I don't care how Max does his shit. Like, just do your own shit and it's fine. I mean, it's not like they are flaming me, but you know, it's mostly like random fans and viewers or whatever. It's okay to have different styles and different personalities, guys. There's not one way to lead a group of people. You don't always have to be, I don't know, like the nicest leader, or you don't always have to be the strictest one. You're not, like, sometimes you're allowed to joke. It's okay if you want to all the time joke. It's okay if you never want to joke. It's all fucking fine, okay? Yeah. And, you know, even though I think, I try to act ethically, I also get if some leaders are unfair. Like, I try to stay as fair as possible. If somebody wants to be an unfair leader and try to make their path that way, okay, like, I don't care. Like, obviously, I wouldn't want to work in that company, but I don't give a fuck in the end. Yeah, like, it's their company. People, if they don't like it, they can leave. Or if it's against the law or something, just sue them. I don't fucking know. But a lot of people are like, no, a leader should act this way. How do you know? Well, why should I believe in that exactly? Do you believe this? Like, it's fine. I don't know. This is such a chaotic topic, and it's not like there is one way to do it right. But yeah. Anyways,
to General Electric, I included my World of Warcraft Guildmaster experience on my CV, and we actually did talk about it a little bit in the interview, which was fun.
The landscape was changing. Now you guys are going to find this really ironic compared to what's happening these days.
True.
SCO posted in 2015. WoW raiding competition had become a 2-horse race for a while.
Yeah, that is true, actually. And if you guys remember as well, Paragon were swapping to 10-man as well, right? So there wasn't
Coffee is sick.
going to be like some huge competition for.
Even though drinking with the straw feels very, I feel very feminine right now, but that's okay. We just exited Pride Month. These kind of things are normal.
Us, I guess you could say, moving into the next expansion after Archimond. So raiding was actually becoming, a little less competitive, I guess you could say, because we'd been quite dominant for a while with some of our world first kills. And Paragon went kind of on the decline, I guess you could say, like they were kind of disappearing. Basically because Paragon was a Finnish-only guild, and so they obviously found it quite hard to continue to recruit Finnish-only players. As people start getting older, as people start finishing university, and then they had to go and, get a job or whatever. And this actually kind of probably leads into some of the stuff we're going to talk about in this video, actually.
I think it might also be that it's in decline because the top teams, they get more and more serious because they're competing with each other. And it's just, with WoW in general, it is just hard to break into the hardcore scene. I mean, it is, I think, a general problem with any game that survives too long, because as it survives, it keeps on adding more complexity. Even if the game does nothing, people just figure out new tech, new ways to think about it. Like, I'm sure, even though, let's say, Counter-Strike did not change much, I'm sure the players right now are better than the players, I don't know, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I would think, because people find new technology to improve themselves. And I mean, it was like this before, but it is also like this now. It's hard to get into the scene. I mean, Method, I think, I have the feeling Method invested quite a bit to stay alive. Yeah. Also, obviously, SCO has a lot of like knowledge about how the scene works.
The core reasons, obviously, that I wanted to what do you want to call it, like try and convert Method from just a World of Warcraft guild into something more, was to actually ensure that Method would still be around in the future. Because obviously we're faced with the same issues, right? Like we play with these players who have been students or whatever, then, you know, if there's not anything more to help support them, then obviously they have to stop playing the game as well at some point, right? And for me, I created Method back in 2005. So at this point in time, this video is being talked about. This is 2015. So that's 10 years, guys. So Method was like my whole life, I guess you could say, outside of, you know, everything else that's going on. So my entire passion, I guess you could say, my baby. So I started Method in the last year of secondary school. So when I was like 17, I think. And then I did, you know, 2 university degrees for 7 years, just all the time, you know, still playing and building Method, I guess you'd say, working with the guild and everything. And then I started working full-time as a financial analyst. And, you know, I kept working full-time while, you know, still building Method.
I don't actually know what Sko was doing to build Method. Maybe he gets into that. I know they expanded into a lot of different games. Also, Esports and Twitch was in a different state when like this was going on, like during VOD and around that time. I have no idea. He gets to that, yeah. Yeah. I'm sure it was a very different scene. Also, people like Method. Okay, I don't know if I can talk about this, but like back then, Twitch handed out some crazy contracts to people. I think this is pretty known. It's like where you were getting paid based on watched minutes, and you would get paid even based on your people in your Twitch team, and you didn't have to give that money to the people in your Twitch team. I think Method kind of used that, and this I can speak about because this is my speculation. They used that when we left Method sometime after. I think they were like mass inviting streamers to Method. I don't even know when this was, but at some point, do you guys remember where there was tons of streamers under the Method brand? Like, I don't know, Al Kaiser was in it, S-Fan was in it. There's just a lot of people, and Twitch was paying Method for those people's salaries in a way. It was really weird. I don't know why Twitch did that. I know it's over now, or I think at least it is over now. They don't do those kind of contracts anymore, at least. But yeah, it was a very weird time. Now they increased the ad revenue on Twitch, so you don't really do those contracts anymore.
But Method was like my passion, right? Method was the thing I cared about the most about. And so a lot of this was mostly about wanting to make sure like that Method was still going to be around in the future and not fade out of existence like so many guilds.
So crazy how big Skull was for the development of WoW rating. For sure, yeah. I mean, it's mainly the Uldia race. That's when it all changed.
That we had seen before. So, for example, you're looking at Paragon here, which was starting to fade out of existence at this point in time. But then look at the past, like other great guilds, you know, Death and Taxes, Nihilum, Insidia. All these guilds have a similar issue in regards to just fading out of existence because they didn't make themselves into anything other than a World of Warcraft guild, so to speak. And they didn't, what's the right word? They didn't have a way to support their players, you know, any further than just, you know, being players in the game, so to speak. And that's something that I realized that we'd have to do with Method if we want to keep Method around, because we were also having issues of people having to, you know, quit the game or finishing their studies, no longer being able to commit to the World First rating schedule, which was already starting to get quite busy back then.
Yeah, I remember when I got married, I wanted to start working. I mean, I had to start working because I needed to now provide, let's say, and you know, have my own costs as well. Not living with a family anymore, and I was very close to quitting. Basically, I had decided to quit, but then we decided to pay me, or Method decided to pay me to keep me going. Yeah. Still, not like a lot of money or anything, because I always asked for the minimum that I would need to keep going. But I did get that minimum, to be fair, which then later on it evolved to even more. But yeah, interesting times. That was like
So
7,
it's mostly about
8
trying
years
to
ago
find
or
a way
something.
to make Method a bit more professional. You know, bring ideally some sponsors and stuff on board, being able to support the players, to make sure that Method, you know, either didn't just disappear overnight because we lost so many players to just IRL stuff, or to stop Method from just being absorbed, I guess you could say, by some other.
Yeah, that was a thing, I think. I'm trying to remember, but when Method started paying people, something was happening. I don't know. It was, I think it's when Limit started paying people. That's when Method also started paying people, I think. And it was a substantial amount as well, if you're considering that we're a 30-man guild. I don't know how they suddenly got that money that they didn't have before. I don't know how this worked out, but yeah, I was very surprised by how much Method was willing to give each player when they announced it. We'll preach let's go a little dirty in this video.
Larger esports organization, I wanted to try and keep Method around.
I don't even know what Preach.
I've
not watched anything of Preach so far. Can you give that number? No, I can't.
Of course.
Race for a while, which was unhealthy. And the raiders were being more and more burdened with requirements to raid. They were now having to keep up maybe 2 alts and alternate classes as Blizzard was stirring.
Wait, what? This is our spreadsheet. Why is this out there?
They wanted to.
Yeah, you see, it's crazy actually to think how much more extreme it's gotten since then, of course. But even back then, guys, when obviously there was nothing in the scene, so to speak, everyone was doing this purely from a passion perspective, right? So it did
Biff
start
in the
to feel
chat.
more of
What's
like
up,
a
dude?
job rather than just like pure fun of logging in for the raid and just performing at your best. Like everything was getting already a little bit more professional back then. Like if you guys remember, for example, like all the weak aura tech and everything that we used on Archimond, and just like Priest just said there, the requirement of a lot more alts, the farming requirements to make sure your characters were ready for raids. Like it was just getting a lot more intense, but there wasn't like any, I guess you could say, additional return for the players, so to speak. And at the same time, the competitive scene was also declining a little bit in regards to like other guilds being, competitive. So there was kind of a lot going on in the background.
To stop the blatant account sharing the racers were doing. And that's all well and good, but the big problem.
Wait, what about account sharing? I missed that.
Money. Business opportunities were creeping in and they were starting to get pretty lucrative. Okay, the fall.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the interesting part.
They were starting to get pretty lucrative. So this video is based about Serenity, right? Before, like 2015. Actually,
this is a juicy bit.
Opportunities were really not lucrative back in 2015. Like sponsorships were incredibly small, and it was very difficult to get brands interested in a World of Warcraft guild, of course, right? I mean, this is a core reason why I tried to expand Method out into working, with content creators, other, teams that were in like competitive tournaments, like a PvP team, and also I think, maybe some other stuff.
Well, it's because it's not being streamed, guys, right? Like you sponsored a race back then. What do you get? You're on a kill video. I mean, in comparison to now, that is fucking crazy. No one would give a shit about the kill video. Like, and it's just a logo placement. It's not even like a real ad. So kind of crazy how big the difference was.
But there was really hardly any money in the scene back then. Like this back in 2015, I was still working full time as a financial analyst, like I mentioned. So there was really not much going on. Like Twitch had only really been a big thing, or not a big thing, but only launched around for 2011, 2012 for us. I think MOP launch was the first time that I ever started streaming, and back then it was only like once or twice a week. And to be honest, like maybe Preach talks about this in the video, we'll see, but there was so much resistance from the guild, like back then, to actually stream our raids and stuff like that. Even the farm raids, like it was like people hated streaming in the guild. So there was definitely a few clashes about that. Like basically they didn't want to stream our raids or whatever. So we'll see.
I was actually one of the guys that really pushed for streaming the race as well, because it was at the time where we got the war first. We had gotten the war first already in the Helya on Helya, and then we had gotten, I think, another war first after that as well. I can't remember which one. What's the end boss of Legion? Was it Kill Jaden? I think so. I think on Kill Jaden we were so far ahead. Was it Argus? Oh no, okay, we got Kill Jaden and then also Argus, right? They were both in Legion, I think. KJ with TOS. That's also Legion though. So we had gotten already enough war first, let's say, and I was like, I want the next challenge, and I really like the idea of like not only are we getting war first, at the same time we're fucking streaming it. I don't give a shit, and like it was like an achievement. You know how people chase the achievements of like getting 100 fish in the sea, or I don't know, all like the 200 mounts or whatever. This was my achievement that I wanted, and that's why I really pushed to stream all the arrays as well. Although there was some stuff that was unexpected that I can't speak about, unfortunately. This is what I'm gonna speak about on my deathbed, dude. But yeah, it is what it is.
Isn't usually a snap thing. It's a combination of things over time that explodes. So let's set the scene for you. Over the past couple of years, the leadership of Method had changed a lot in terms of who was doing which task. Famously, incredible raid leader Kuznam had taken nearly all the raid management work. Officer Potham had become the primary organizer of the guild as a whole. Players such as Infield.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that comment, so to speak. Like, the officer core was still the same as it had been for years. Like, Kuzan was the raid leader before this as well. It was just a case of, I guess certain people, like you mentioned there, like Kuznam and Parton with the Recore tech, maybe started doing it a little bit more. But I think the overall issue here was that, like Kuznam, for example, and I guess Parton and a few others, didn't really agree with the direction that we were taking things. So like I said, the whole direction I was trying to take was that we want Method to be around for, years to come. We obviously want to, try and build something a bit more sustainable where we can actually, support players, so to speak. Try and keep the guild going, basically. And there was still a little bit of a pushback, I guess you could say, from Kuznam and co, who basically just wanted to play the game and not really take things much further than that, so to speak.
I don't know. Okay, so I can't, like, from what I've heard, right? I can't say this as a guarantee, but I am gonna guess that if the players thought that they are getting not used to get Method ahead, and if they are gonna share all the money that will appear out of Method growing, I have the feeling that they would have been fine with the direction, if that makes sense. I think even if it is not necessarily the case, I think probably that there was like rumors brewing that Method is using the players for their own gain, or for SCO's own gain. I don't think that's necessarily true, but I think it may have been the case. I'm not 100% on this though. I feel like I had heard things like that. That is just gonna be a lot fairer and stuff like that. Like I think fairness was a problem. Let's see how much money was it divided. Yeah, that's the thing. If you divide it between 20 or 25 people, it's almost nothing. But if one person takes it all, it becomes significant. And then if that person also wants to stream the race or the raids, then the people that are not getting anything are obviously not happy with it, right? It would be really interesting if Kuznam was to comment on this. We need a Kuznam react, dude, to this part. They didn't start paying radius till they got poached. Dirty Method. I don't think it's dirty, man. Like, in the end, if the players want to play the game and like SCO's making money off of this, like, it is what it is. Like, but then if people leave, then he also needs to understand that. So I don't think there's anything wrong with any of this. I don't care about it. Let's say, like, I don't think this makes Sko a bad person. If he even did do that, I don't even know if he did or to what degree. Happens normal. So yeah, I mean, tons. Every CEO that is like of big companies, right? Like, they obviously make a lot more money, or the owners of a company make more money oftentimes when the company is really successful. That's normal. I don't know. I wish I made more money, but we're gonna get there. I could already reacting to the second part of this video. Hungen. Holy moly. Rising from the ashes. Well place. I remember him, like, he was promoting Ashes of Creation or something at some point. What happened to that game, dude? What the fuck? Hungen is a go. Yeah, I really like Hungen. He talks shit sometimes, but he's just a nice guy. I don't know. I like him. Every time I see Spark Cooks, I know how bad I am in comparison. Shelly, what's up, man? Regular MMO scam. What?
But let's see.
Others were now add-on specialists, and more duties had begun filtering down to not just officers, but the members as well. The thing is, none of them were technically the leader of this ship. That, as most know, was
Wait. Okay. There's no way that my head is on Joffrey here, guys. Oren, is that Joffrey? Also, I had a lot more hair in this picture, guys. Yeah. Maybe I need to grow it back out again.
Go. Sko
nah, the long hair kind of sucked. This is better.
Further away from the WoW day-to-day guild activities.
So, in regards to this, that is kind of true, but it's not necessarily for the reason that he's, I guess you could say, insinuating here. It was obviously a combination of things, but honestly, guys, mostly it was because it was just crazy trying to obviously work full-time in finance, where you're doing obviously more than 40 hours a week in most places, and still trying to keep up with like the increasing grind of, you know, getting your characters ready, but at the same time then also being an officer, trying to, you know, manage the guild, and then at the same time trying to build Method into something more than a guild, like on, you know, in addition to that, right? So basically that was definitely probably something that, yeah, impacted things.
And more into the brand.
Yeah, I had a similar thing when I was studying. I was working and also like trying to improve my guild, and that's when I lost a lot of hair. I didn't even notice it. I was like, for 1 year I just blasted hard, and it was incredibly stressful, and I didn't realize it was stressful. And then I was like, what the fuck is happening to me? And then I quit. I was allowed to take thingy again, like a scholarship type of thing in Germany that you can get, that you need to pay back. But I was able to get that again, and then I quit my job. And life was so much better, dude. It was insane. Holy fuck.
Was Method and what its future held. The business prospects of...
I think this was the 2014 BlizzCon, actually, if I'm not mistaken. There's Blatte, obviously Eon as well.
Eon is a baby back then, dude. Holy fuck.
Method. And I don't mean Method.
I worked as a computer scientist, as a coder, basically, software developer.
Esports org.
Wait, where am I on this? Wait, guys, they cut me out.
They had a pro CSGO team.
Okay, so the CSGO team that's being talked about here, you can see this is actually a clip from the Gfinity Elite Series. This is not until much later, down the line, like years from now, I think, like maybe like 16.
I wonder if these things made Method money.
17, so it's not like current footage. We did pick up like a US CS team, I think, in 2015, but it was a very low like commitment, like investment. Again, this was like our I guess you could say our attempt to try and make Method more than just a WoW guild, right? So we want to be in the bigger picture, or in the conversation, I guess you could say, with brands when it came to, you know, working with brands. Obviously, they want to work with people who are giving them exposure, you know, whether it's content creators, whether it's, you know, winning tournaments or like pro teams. Because at that moment in time, we had very little actual content creators and, you know, almost no streaming presence in the Method Guild. Because we had very little streamers, and the guild itself really did not like streaming, like not even our farm raids. So actually, if you want to stream in the Method Guild, there was so much like like pushback against it. Like you actually almost, in some cases, it felt like people who wanted to stream almost kind of got a little bit bullied in the guild. Like I guess I don't need to name names, but I think this has kind of been touched on in the past about some people not getting treated that well by certain people in the guild because they wanted to stream or they were streaming.
Still happens to Junji to this day, honestly. It's the reason for that also is because the streamers, they try to focus on entertaining their streams rather than playing the game, and that tilts people, right? Because you're kind of, as a streamer, using the players for your stream's entertainment. Like you're raiding there, let's say, right? It's a farm raid. Back then, farm raids actually got viewers. I mean, still does sometimes. And then there is people who are in that guild, especially people, let's say Kuznam, let's say they do a lot, right? And then you know that this guy, other guy, is monetizing you without even your permission, really. And on top of that, they are paying more attention to their chat than to their game. That often happens, and that's when people flame the streamers, of course. Or like they forget to. This is also a common thing. Still happens to the state. They forget to mute themselves on TS, and then they speak to their chat. And if that also happens at the same time as like the raid leader explaining a strategy or something, GG's, dude. Don't expect to not get hated after that.
So there was kind of a negative environment towards streaming, which at the same time made it almost impossible to actually get people interested in the Method Guild because, you know, outside of our competitive success, which a lot of people weren't caring that much about in regards to World of Warcraft at the time, because we didn't, obviously there's no race to World first.
Sometimes I get a bit jealous, maybe that make money from this. I actually don't know how much streamers back then made, but it could be jealousy as well. But I think if it had nothing to do with you, right? If let's say someone like the raid ends, they go and stream and they are, I don't know, doing some sort of content that's unrelated to the raid or whatever. I don't think anybody would care because it's like you having a good job, right? But the problem is when they use you, the streamers, for the content. Like, for example, I also, before I'm going to do the next Raider review, I asked the whole team if anyone has a problem with it. I wouldn't have done it otherwise, because I can understand it if they're like, okay, Scrub is going to talk shit about me, make money, and I'm sitting here, right? I get it, people don't want that. So that's why I asked the whole team if everyone's fine with it. Yeah, I understand it. I think the streamers need to find a way where they are not hated. They need to respect the time of the guild. And you know, not use them for personal gains.
Like actually being streamed or anything. We also had very little content creators.
And WoW PvP teams. As such, new and uncomfortable terms started to be thrown around, like streaming. Completely ridiculous. Now remember, this was 2015.
Yeah.
The first broadcasted Race to World First wasn't until September 2018.
Yeah, so I try to do quite a bit of streaming, guys, because obviously, like I said, I'm trying to position Method in a certain way to make sure Method it was lasting, you know, long to the future. And again, this caused a bit of issues in the guild. Like people didn't really agree with it, right? Like that's definitely one of the underlying concerns, I guess, that some people had. Also, at this point in time, I was only streaming like once or twice a week, to be honest.
Like I said, I don't think it's just about people not wanting Method to live long. It's more the fact that they are not getting anything out of it. If Sko was streaming and sharing every income he gets with the whole team, people would be okay. I think people would be fine with it, right? But I understand he doesn't have to do that as well. To be clear, it's just I don't think it's just that, right? He's a bit making it seem like people just wanted to be kids and play, and that's it. I don't think it's just that. Let's say. Where he finds her working a real job, managing a guild and streaming. I don't know if you saw the things, but back then he basically he got fat a bit, and he stopped managing the guild properly, which is why the people left. So he was just working and trying to keep up, but struggling to keep up on those other aspects of life, which is normal. I mean, you can't do everything. Streams are distracted as if you had permanent TikTok on your phone running on the side while raiding. Why would I want to play with that? Yeah, I mean, this is true. Yeah. As you're streaming is a game that not paying attention part can be annoying, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, it's not paying attention part. Yeah, that's main. That I think that's the main thing, and it's also a bit of a different atmosphere when you stream, especially the voice comms. Sometimes like people try to be extra funny for the stream. I don't know if that makes sense. Like they try to be the class clown a little bit, like expecting reactions from chat, which is nothing wrong with that. I do that as well. Like it's fine, you know. It's funny. Clip farm, yeah, exactly. It's and sometimes you just miss being with the boys and just gaming. You know, we sometimes do like no stream rates just for fun and just for a different atmosphere. And it is a different atmosphere. It's, you know, both are fun, I think. I don't think the streaming is not fun either. It's just, you know, when you just do the one thing, you sometimes miss the other.
Experience with, and I've
Thank you,
talked about it a
Ludvero.
few times. When I joined Method for the second time, I was a young, up-and-coming YouTuber.
Preach was a
making
Method, by the
stuff-ass
way.
videos with a bad microphone in a backroom bedroom.
Nice motto.
But I did make videos, and after my very first raid coming back to Method, I made a video talking about that raid. The very next day, that video was now on the front page of the Method website. This actually caused me a lot of heat with the guild. People were under the assumption.
Yeah, so you see, he actually mentions that there are two guys, right?
Really?
Like the guild, a lot of the guild in general, it's so weird to say, but they were against like content creation, like streaming, creating content about like the guild or whatever. Yeah, like that was just a big divide, I guess you could say. It's just a different...
Yeah, I talked about the history of Rem and BFA once on stream. People were quite interested. I could make a video about that. It's just yeah. I need to remember some things as well. I need to like work on it because it's a long time ago. I forgot a lot of things. But that would be interesting. Yeah. A lot of stories, a lot of things happened. Actually wild. I don't know of any other thing in my life that lasted as long as my WoW history or career, I guess. You know? Kind of crazy. You raid with... No, I never raided with him, no. I never even spoke to him. There was a massive rivalry when he was still playing, though. And even though we never, like, met each other or talked to each other, like... there was... yeah, there was just, like, this intense atmosphere, let's say. Or intense thing between him and me, you know? At least that's how I felt. I don't know if he felt the same way, but I would think so, because we were both the raid leaders, and it was very competitive, very. 15-minute time, I don't know if it on YouTube would go hard. Yeah, maybe. That's hard to put it into 15 minutes, but yeah, let's see.
Mindset, right? Like I understand obviously why some people would want to do that and want to just play the game and then just stop playing it, whatever. But for me, like I said, I was really trying to make sure that Method was going to be around in the years to come, right? So we had to try and build it into something more than just a WoW guild. Otherwise, Method was going to fade out of existence in the next few years. Like it's just inevitable. Like every other WoW guild.
I wonder what he's gonna say about the Rem merge.
That I had been brought back because of my YouTube presence. I was there to bring attention and eyeballs to Method. That wasn't the case at all, and I wanted to prove myself. And they hadn't asked permission. So I sent a message saying, you guys need to take that video down, and you need to ask me if you want to use my content that way. Now, in their defense, they did. They took it down immediately and never did anything else. However,
I actually don't remember this particular incident that he's talking about, but he obviously, you know, it's his video, so it probably definitely happened.
I was then called into a meeting with Method management. I thought I was in trouble. But no, I was called into a meeting to discuss Method's future branding opportunities and revenue streams through YouTube, how they could grow their brand that way.
Okay.
As you can see,
I actually, again, I don't remember that specific conversation, but Preach obviously remembers it probably quite well, so I'm sure again that probably happened.
Idea of branding, growth, and marketing has been a big push internally at Method for a very long time, because that was in 2012. So in the months leading to the breakup, cliques were forming, as they do with most people not being interested in the method, brand, marketing, PvP teams, and so on.
Yeah, exactly. So he kind of touches on here what I was saying before, right? Like there's certain people in the guild, including people like Kuznam, for example, who only want to play the game, right? Like didn't want to really get like build method into anything other than just the WoW guild. And like I said, that was obviously a difference in opinion that he and a few others shared, and that was obviously one of the main reasons why ultimately the Serenity split happened. Really, just a difference in opinion about what the next step should be for like the guild in general and the wider like method organization.
And certainly not stream.
Yeah, I'm wondering, is what they wanted just not streaming? Was that it? I don't know if that was the only difference in opinion, I guess. But yeah, this click thing is definitely something that exists. I don't know why it's so common. It can be people from the same nationality. That happens more often as well. And nothing wrong with, let's say, I don't know what the definition of a clique is, but the problem is when they are like having a good group of friends in a guild is no problem, right? But the problem is when they are sitting there and just flaming other people that are not in that group, which is something that happens. Yeah, I never understood this, but it is a very common thing, and I don't notice them as much as well. But other people, like I always hear about this from the other people that like these people exist and this guy is in this clique and this guy is in that clique, and I'm like, okay, kind of crazy. I don't know what the fuck is going on. This is something in general, I think like people's relationships with each other and all this kind of stuff, I don't care too much about, and I'm not too interested in it either. I don't know. That sounds a bit weird when I say like this, but I don't care who hangs around with who or talks about what. I just care about the result in the end. I do care about how they talk to me and publicly, but like I wouldn't notice if someone is really good friends with someone else in the team. And I wouldn't also notice or be interested in it if they are shit talking some other player. Unless I am made, like, unless they're doing it publicly, right? Like in a way that that player knows and like it's in the guild or something, and I'll be like, what the fuck is going on? But like what they do in their whispers and DMs, I wouldn't notice this, but a lot of times when people bring it up, I will have like no idea. Wait, really? Like these guys just, hate on this guy for what? It's so weird. I'm gonna be the last person that will notice these kind of things always in the officer team as well. Like it's really weird. But yeah, apparently it's a thing. I think maybe they're also hiding it from me more. I don't know.
Progression. At the same time, not being happy.
This was such a nice boss. I love this phase, dude. This was a secret phase, guys. So this whole part, like in this twisting nether part, was not existing in heroic, and back then, people didn't stream the race. So when we got here, no one else, like there was no video or anything. So it was full blind raiding. It felt like Final Fantasy, dude. I wish we could go back to those days. I'm telling you, if you guys are still rating in like the top 10 or something like this, guys, Fat Shark, yes, I don't know, Advance or like all these people, or Northern Sky or something, if you like, I don't know, either I would go for War first, right, or I would much more recommend not doing any PTR testing, not watching any streams, and just playing the raid blind. I think you're gonna have a million times more fun doing this. It will be so nice. Oh, Viklund in the chat, dude. Yo, what's up, Viklund? We were talking about you just a second ago as well, and I saw you in the roster. When Viklund released the video, guys, I got flamed so much. Why is Viklund doing so much DPS, Scribe? Bro, I was raid leading and I was struggling, and also I wasn't like min-maxing the DPS. I was just doing what is important. I was like almost bottom DPS on this fight in my guild. But Vikland's doing so much. Okay, dude. Fuck my life. I don't hear Vikland rate leading though, you know? It was back then a different time. I'd rather blind Destiny or Final Fantasy 14. Blind WoW seems to torture outside of War first. No, it's not. Blind WoW is quite a lot of fun. Because that's what we did always back then, so I know about it. It was really fun. The only thing is like the add-ons, and they're removing that soon, so we're chilling, boys. 20th man still exists. Yeah, dude.
That as they saw it, they were doing most of the work for Method Guild, which was making the money. But the money appeared to be flowing to mostly one person.
Ooh. Let's... Oh, Preach said it. Holy shit. I just said it might be the case. I didn't know. Preach just said it. Ghostface after seeing this. Not like this. Ain't no way. None of us. I don't know if this is the truth. At least back then. I mean, I don't know anything technically. So let's see.
Okay,
that's
is. I mean, that statement is just, I don't know. That's definitely. I mean, in my opinion, of course, total nonsense. Like, that didn't.
Any comments, Wigland? Wigland was actually in the team back then, so he would know, and I think he was also close with the Serenity guys more. Yeah, if you have any comments, we'll take it. If not, that's fine as well.
Actually happened again in 2015. The money involved in like the guild and like the wider method like activities was so small, and at the same time, like I mentioned, just up until what it was, I think August 2015, I was still working full time.
I mean, the impression back then was that he was getting a lot of money. Yeah, the thing is, he's saying small, right? But let's say the guild is making, I don't know, 2K per month. Even that was something, you know? And obviously, if people don't see anything of that and it goes to one person, I don't know if it's 2K. I don't know what it is, right? I'm just making shit up. But maybe it was a small amount, but it's still significant to the people that are playing. Could be as well. So SCO doesn't necessarily need to be lying here, but it might still be something the guys didn't want. I wish I would know as well. I don't think anyone knows here how much back then sponsors were paying. I don't know. I guess like Paragon had sponsors maybe as well, 1 or 2 here and there. I wonder how much they got paid back then, or if they got paid anything. You guys have any idea roughly how much it was making? Because he said it was negligible amount, small. Mm-hmm.
And then after that, when I stopped working full time, basically any money I was able to make was basically from, you know, the content creation in terms of like streaming on Twitch or similar. In terms of money from Method, it was so small, and it was any money was basically reinvested into the org or to the players and whatnot, right? So
yeah, I think that was also something that players may have had a problem with, is that if Method got the money from the WoW team, it's kind of what Blizzard did as well. You get the money from the WoW team, but then you invest it into Method. You're not like you're not driving a Lambo yourself, but you invested to create a CS team, to, I don't know, create a Hearthstone team or whatever, Heroes of the Storm team, whatever it is, right? This is also something the players would not like. We were very careful with that when we were starting like our Final Fantasy adventures or Destiny stuff as well. Like we made sure we're not taking money from the WoW team, because we don't want that perception that people think we're taking the money they earned in a way and putting it into other places.
Yeah, I think that's a big misconception.
You just want,
like, maybe even at some point in time, guys, like, it would be interesting to talk about how much money Method actually has made over the years, because it would be quite surprising to a lot of people that most of it has, I mean, of course, it's just been reinvested in things like, even like, for example, the Race World first popping off and whatnot.
Also, Method makes some sort of money from places I have no fucking clue, guys. I don't know. Method, they own Vago. I don't know how much they're making from there. They have the guides on their website. I've never checked the Method guide on a class. I don't know. I don't know if they are good or if they make any money. I know they made guides for Warcraft Rumble, I think, yeah. These kind of things, I don't know. They are doing things. I have no idea how much money these things make. It's very different. I know they are now partnered with a crypto called Floki. I don't know what the hell that is. There's apparently a game as well that is related to it. People are streaming this game. At some point, they had this whole method crypto thing. Like they had a separate channel with it even. And it had no viewers ever, I think. But I heard they made some money from crypto. I don't know what the hell Method is doing. It's doing all kinds of stuff. But it seems to be working out for them. If I could get a gambling sponsorship, would you take it? No, we don't do gambling. That being said, I just want to clarify, right? People think like streaming on Kick is really bad as well. I do not think it's bad at all. As long as you don't promote gambling on or have gambling ads on your stream. So maybe I'm like my brain is working differently there. I do not care that a company is owned by people that have another company that does gambling. I do not give a fuck. If Kick's owners, they owned, I don't know, porn companies and gambling companies and alcohol and everything that I don't like, and they do weird shit, I would not care, because Kick, I see it as a separate entity, and if they're not promoting this stuff on my stream, I don't care. I know it's a lot very different to what other people think. Some people will think this is really bad. I don't care about it. If you go by that logic, Twitch owners have sweatshops. I don't even know what a sweatshop is. But indeed, I do not care about it if they do own it. Do you have any plans to stream race on multiple platforms? Yeah, we might stream. In fact, we might stream on Kick as well next year. I don't know. We'll see. But we are already streaming to YouTube. We want to do Twitter as well. It's just that Twitter is a bit like low quality, and I don't really know how it works. There's no way to monetize it directly, at least. There are some deals you can do with Twitter, apparently, which we might look into, but it's weird. But I do not care if Twitter is owned by Elon Musk, and like I don't agree with Elon Musk's political views or something. I do not give a fuck about him. Like, it's fine. I don't mind streaming on Twitter, TLDR, yeah? Same with TikTok. If they're owned by the Chinese government and they do weird shit, they're not owned by the Chinese government. They are owned by a company in China, but I guess that might be the same thing. I don't know at this point. Yeah, I do not care, TLDR. As long as I'm not like directly promoting something bad, I don't care. Ni hao, yeah. Send Elon a Venmo for $400 per stream. Yeah, no, but yeah, we do want to multi-stream to more platforms. The really cool thing with Kick is that there is no ads on Kick, and you still make money, and that's great because they're investing a lot of money. It's like back then when Mixer started, right? They were just throwing around money. That's Kick right now. They're just throwing around money. It's crazy, and their hope is to get, I'm guessing, the money back eventually. But right now, there's no way they're making money back. But his scopes in the chat as well. We can't flame him too much, guys. But for most, I didn't say a single thing bad about you, Sco. Don't worry about it. But for most of us leaving, we just wanted to stay with our friends. A lot of people in Serenity to mind the method expansion. Yeah, I know Roger was really against the split. Like I think Roger had like an ethical problem with it. The fact that people wanted to leave rather than to discuss, like, actually, Roger could give some really interesting opinions on this. I remember he had like a strict view on it. Let's go is here. Everybody run away. Everyone's scattered, dude. He's struck around. What a champion. Yeah. I think like he had his own views as well, and he may have not agreed with Sko or with Kuznam or whatever. It's just that he didn't like the fact that people just left. He really wanted people to just find a middle ground in a way. I think. But yeah, it's been a long time since we chatted about it with him. Roger reacts, subscribe. Yeah, we need Roger to become a content creator. Man, when we made this team, the idea was that the Roger streams as well, but yeah. There was not enough time in the day, and he doesn't want to push himself too much, I think. I mean, even I am now streaming once or twice per week. Okay. Yeah, let's see.
You guys wouldn't believe how long it took for brands to kind of catch up and understand like the size and scale of that opportunity, while of course like the putting on the events and everything extremely expensive and so on. But I think there's always this misconception, I guess.
I mean, that's another thing. Even like I have a rough idea of how much Method may have made with the events. Still only rough, but the question is like, at the time where streaming was not a thing of the race, that I have no idea about how much they were making. But doesn't sound, it's definitely not a lot. It's just, you know, compared to nothing, people might still be jealous and not like it, right? Has managed to benefit from most of the upside risk for first way. If you want the true story, is this the story taking off in terms of brands? He made Echo. Oh, dude, I wish I did, dude. I wish I did benefit the most. I don't think so. I think the biggest guy that benefited the most is Max, for sure. And you know it now. Just got an ad count here. Unlock. Gotta be a subscriber. It's definitely Max, I would say. He didn't even make a real company. Just made good deals with big brands. GG's. And then became famous because he was the only POV on their team. I mean, obviously he worked together first, right? But we all do that in a way. But I think Max got the juiciest deal for sure. Yeah, I have no idea. Max got the Honda money. Yeah, rip Honda, dude. Never forget MVP Truefire. And Truefire, what the fuck? I'm fired up, I mean. Truefire is our analyst. Max is also a very good streamer as well. Yeah, of course. He fits what people want to watch a lot. I don't think he was as good in the past, but he got better and better, right? Just doing it. No Honda MVP tweets. Yeah, dude. Our new social media manager came to us with an idea like, oh, we could do tweets and we could do like MVP of the day and then sponsored by a certain sponsor. I'm like, yeah, there was some, you know, funny thing you say that. There was a case in the past that didn't go so well with that. I have to explain him the lore. We learned the nice car. The Mustang was until 2017, bro, and that was from poker winnings, if you remember, Unibet. Oh yeah, there was some poker shenanigans as well. Method was doing. That's true.
You could say that there's a ton of money, and it's, you know, people aren't seeing it, so to speak.
To game, push world first with their friends, and not be a part of some big corporation.
Okay. I get not, at least I'm not jumping this time, guys, but I guess they're indicating that meant to be Galliux here speaking to like the officers, and we know what happens in this cutscene. This is actually one of the few cutscenes in the recent patches that I have actually seen, right?
The clearest public example of this came from member Tegu, who posted this when he left. I was quite disappointed how the guild meeting went last night, and how much was talked about.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. This goes back to the misconception from some of the players that there was a lot of money flowing into the org and that they weren't seeing enough of it, so to speak. Again, that just didn't happen in reality. But it's very difficult to actually change someone's opinion about that, so to speak. But ultimately, again,
like then people used forums to about these topics. It's crazy.
Like the thought process behind this is, of course, let's try and make Method into more of a guild. Let's ideally, do more content creation, get more streamers interested in actually streaming. Let's work with some content creators. Let's work with some other teams, like YPUP and so on, so that we can actually attract sponsors. Then, of course, once we attract sponsors, we can push more money back into the guild, and we can actually, give people an incentive like to actually stay around, right? Like, so we'd be able to stop players from like quitting the game or whatever, right? Like some of our best players that would allow us to still be competitive and actually really still push Method as a world first rating guild. We'd make sure that Method had longevity. We'd make sure that we didn't get absorbed by like another, you know, esports organization or just fade out of existence. And historically, like this has happened so many times that we've only been able to keep like some of the best players around because we were able to offer them like additional incentives or, you know, compensation, so to speak. Like there's actually, like, even for example, Scripe, like, you know, when he was very leading Method, like there was actually,
Yeah, I did speak about that.
instances where Scripe would have just quit the game full out if we weren't actually able to, you know, of course, compensate him, you know, for the time that
Guys, back then I was also like Maris mode fully, and it was crazy, dude. I was doing so much. It was insane. Yeah. And also like I think only Roger could have done it in game raid leading, but I was doing outside of the in-game raid leading tons of shit. So I think, yeah, basically Method didn't want to lose me as well. I wasn't even there with the goal to get more money. Like I actually was there informing them that I'm quitting. And then I remember Sko saying, "How much do we have to pay you so that you don't quit?" And that's when I'm like, well, I didn't even think about it, you know? Yeah. So that was definitely interesting times.
he was putting into the game and everything, because he had to get a job or whatever, right? Like
Yeah.
that's a situation that
And there's no way I could have done it with a job. I knew that because I was spending crazy time.
we're often, you guys can imagine now in the professional scene that we're in right now, it's always impossible to kind of imagine what we're talking about here. But yeah, there was a big gap there.
About money.
But this was after the REM merge. I mean, to be clear, like before this, I was not in the team, right? So I don't know any of what was happening here. Later on, we also. Oh, okay, let's talk about that when we are at the REM merge state. There's some interesting stories there as well. Some of which is not even method related, let's say, directly.
This was a part of the exodus of every single member and officer of Method, excluding just
Bro,
two.
Fragments.
Just wait.
I see Fragments' name there. Like, Fragments has left Method and rejoined Method, honestly, guys, at this point in time, like 4 times. It's actually wild. Love the guy, though.
Roger Brown. And of course, Sko.
Perfecto as well.
There's someone missing here, actually. I'm pretty sure Perfecto was still part of the team as well. Like, I don't think Perfecto left.
The entire roster left within a few hours.
Also, Slootbag joined Serenity, guys. That was a real sore point for me, actually. Like, I've talked to Slootbag, obviously, since then. But Slootbag was meant to join Method just before this kind of kind of happened, right? Like, me and Slootbag were pretty close. Like, we hung out all the time at, like, BlizzCon, blah, blah. And Slootbag was actually meant to join Method. Then, obviously, when the Serenity stuff happened, he went to join Serenity instead. And so that was like that felt like a real sore spot, to be fair. But it's all water under the bridge, guys. Obviously, it was this
Water under the bridge because Serenity disbanded and Method won against them. But if it was the other way around, I don't know, guys.
sore spot, of course, was that the guild had just decided that they wanted to go and do their own thing with Serenity. That was obviously a much bigger thing. Yes.
I think Slootbag was also really close with Kuznam. I do remember that. So it makes sense that he joins them.
So
Hours. This, of course, led
Kuznam really liked Slootbag. I remember all this.
to the internet meme of Sko was the problem. But was that true?
True. Sko was the problem. Was a long ass meme. Yeah, that lasted for a long
few hours
time.
after the exodus, Sko
okay, so here's actually my statement that I made, guys. Let's see. As you're probably aware, there are big changes happening Method, a lot of issues at play that caused this, some more complex than others. Been a pretty bad atmosphere, strained relationships in Method. And while in the past, the unified goal of pushing for World First has kept the guild together, this is evidently no longer the case. In short, very basic summary of issues that caused the separation. So World of Warcraft, hardcore rating in decline, lack of competition, the efforts required to raid at hardcore level is not necessarily enjoyed as much as it previously was. I kind of mentioned that already. People are motivated by different things.
Back then, we didn't even have PTR tests, or did we actually? Oh, maybe I think no, we did. Yeah, no, we did. What am I talking about? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it was actually quite a lot of effort. If there was no PTR test, it wouldn't have been that bad. But yeah,
At various levels. and as always, external factors like money involved. Yeah, we talked about that. Lack of leadership. The members' faith in the officer team's ability to lead due to motivation and drive wasn't at its strongest. Over time, there's been a transfer of power between the officer teams and the members. For example, raid leading was done by Kuznam, and certain other activities were being organized by members.
The weird thing with Kuznam also was that he was like he left Method and went on break so many times. I feel like I always remember like, oh, Kuznam was not playing this tier, and then he was playing that tier, and when he was gone, it was Roger who would take over to raid lead as well.
Yeah, so this is also, I mentioned that earlier, right? Like previously. So yeah.
Was it 2015 Reptile Movement and Method merged? Yeah, basically after the disband. I mean, we're gonna get there. No spoilers, man. Come on.
Fortunately, key people such as Kuznam, raid leader, and Parham, the guy who organized a lot of the Archimon stuff, including like the WeCore tech and stuff, have decided they'd rather start fresh in a new guild alongside those that they closely associate with. So basically, guys, the problem that you have here when the guild obviously follows generally the raid leader, right? So when Kuznam and a couple of like his like a handful of his like close, I guess you could say, buddies decide they want to do something, then obviously most people are going to follow the raid leader because they think that's what makes the most sense, right? Like they're used to obviously that person being the leader of the guild. So yeah, as I say here, many members will obviously follow the raid leader, which is understandable. Yeah. So in regards to the future of Method, zero intentional let the Method guild die. We're going to use the resource at disposal to rebuild the guild. And I already started speaking to people like really quickly after this. I spoke to a lot of people, obviously, guys. I was never going to give up on Method, right? Like it's something that I was building at that point in time for over 10 years. And I was so determined to make sure that Method existed into the future, which was my motivation.
I don't know what other options there was aside from Rem, but I remember when talking to Scott, he was quite calm about the situation. I was actually surprised. It seemed to me more like that he didn't care almost, but I mean, thinking about it now, like there's no way he didn't care.
Drive for a lot of this prior to even the guild split, right? So
you want to try this in new DLC for day one, right? I did want to try it, man, but I didn't get people to join. Everyone is like, they don't want to think about a different game when they're preparing for the race. But we might try it after the race is over, just for fun more. I mean, to farm less as well. But yeah, I would have much rather played day one. Sadly, will not happen. I'm also probably better for my health.
There's also even talk here at the bottom about investigating the possibility of streaming the entire progression. Because again, that was an idea to really try and incite, I guess you could say, a lot more interest and excitement into the raiding side of things again, while also being able to create a lot of content and like attract, hopefully, eventually sponsors and brands to be interested in what we're doing, which will allow us to obviously secure Method's longevity and actually, give back to the team and the players to keep them around.
Took to Facebook to give his side. In that post, it is confirmed the issues mentioned above and that he was indeed pushing in 2015 for Method to start streaming the Race to World First. Dudes, the idea of streaming the race in 2016 is completely insane. I know it's normal to you now, but you've got to look back then.
Yes and no. Yes, because streaming was still quite early in World of Warcraft back then, but it was starting to pick up a lot of traction. Obviously we had quite a few streamers by 2015, I guess you could say, or at least some people in the guild were streaming, which I mentioned before wasn't always seen that positively by the guild. However, there wasn't actually that much competition for us either, right? So this was actually an opportunity again for us to, stream, probably still win, and at the same time, get people interested in what we're doing. So it was definitely something to consider even back then.
Streaming had just begun to exist.
Yeah, I think competitively you could do it, but the problem is, unless you're able to monetize it and you're telling players that, they're going to get each, I don't know, 2K after the tier, then why would they want to do that, right? They're there to win. Why should they stream and lose their chances of winning for no reason? I think that's, again, the big reason that people wouldn't want to do it.
But what's funny is that actually when Serenity obviously was formed, and then we had to compete against Serenity with Method, then streaming obviously had to be put on the back burner, because again, if Serenity wasn't going to stream, then obviously we couldn't stream, because that all of a sudden we had tough competition in the raiding scene again. So that was why it was put on the back burner, guys, until what, like you Preach mentioned earlier in the video, like September 2018.
And the idea of the average WoW
Yeah, it was insanely competitive. I remember I never saw like people like Sko being this happy that we were getting Ward second. On Emerald Nightmare, Ward first was taken by Exorsus, and we got Ward second. And he was so fucking happy, dude. It was insane. He was memeing Serenity. I don't know if you guys saw the meme post. Because they got Ward third, and this was like unimaginable. The fact that we beat Serenity, I'm gonna get to it after the merch part again. But guys, every day I'm logged into WoW, I would get a DM or even letters in game that we are fake method and that we're gonna lose and that we suck. Like, I did not even exist. Okay, like my presence was unknown. I had no Twitter, I had no YouTube, Twitch, nothing existed. People would still find me and DM me because I was in method. It was fucking crazy. And that is one of the things that gave me so much energy and motivation to beat Serenity as well later on. Because I was like, fuck these guys, dude, I'm gonna win. Even though we got Ward second, I was also so happy that we won against Serenity.
player wanting to sit in front of a camera with microphones on all day, every day was extremely uncomfortable. So it is no surprise that a lot of the guild were against this idea.
I mean, you didn't have to stream with cameras on, but yeah, I think people just didn't want to lose the competitive edge for no reason.
In September 2015, an announcement was made. A new guild, a new dream was coming. Serenity had arrived.
Oh, dude, Serenity trailer, like announcement video went hard though. That was quite epic.
Comprising practically all the...
You actually can't imagine, by the way, guys, like, I don't know, man. Like, when the Serenity split happened and they created the new Serenity Guild, like, yeah, it definitely sucked a lot. Like, because, like I said, a lot of, like, players that I played with for quite a few years...
Oh, you see Gingy joining.
...had actually followed, Kuznam and Co. to create Serenity. And, yeah, it really sucked. Like, it really...
Wait, Dota joined back then as well. Holy shit, I didn't remember this.
...sucked. Like, obviously, you can imagine, like, how it felt for me, so to speak. It was really rough, actually, yeah.
Victor, do you think if you volunteer that you wouldn't have disbanded Serenity? I'm quite curious.
Former Method World First Raiders, and now including some fresh up-and-coming players who might be decent.
You're disbanding no matter what, I see.
They had a chance. They had done some good challenge mode times in Mists of Pandaria.
That's so weird though, like, because I think the big reason for the disband was Kuznam being busy IRL, right? Like, I'm wondering why the fuck did he make the guild if he was gonna go busy IRL anyways after like within 1.5, 2 years or whatever it was. Like, people might as well just stay in method. I don't know. I was surprised about that reasoning, let's say. Wasn't a guild with pillar. Oh, I'm not even close to first rating.
Like this Gingy guy, whoever he was.
Okay.
Serenity was to be a no BS, no fluff, just gamers with skill and experience going in.
What's interesting, actually, guys, is that Gingy, Deep Shades, Fragments, and I think it was Lozelle at the time, they were the first 4 guys to come to Method after the Serenity split. So they were the first 4 that kind of jumped back into Method. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, Lozelle, this guy, incredible. Lozelle, do you know right? So we took him along with the other guys, and we made sure that everyone, because back then you had to say this, people were idiots. You had to say, listen, you're a trial, you might get benched, and you might be benched for the whole tier potentially. That is just how things work. And you need to be okay with that. Are you okay with this? Or are you going to have a problem? Because then might as well not join. We can't rely on people that are going to quit if they get benched. He said, yeah, I'm okay with it. And then he got benched and he quit. This guy, like, he didn't quit after the tier. He quit immediately. Like, complete idiot. Dude, I don't know. I've not seen this a lot in this scene, let's say. It was incredible, dude. Like, that is why we always incorporated this question to our like recruitment. And then people, maybe they had an issue with it. They might be mad. They might be like typing you tack like why I should be in the raid, right? I get this a lot. Like long paragraph, yeah, I should be in the raid because this guy's actually worse than me. I prepared a lot. I'm the best player, everything. But yeah, it's fine. You know, in the end, they stay, and then after the tier, we can discuss it. They might leave, they might not. It is what it is. But yeah, this guy, absolutely fucking crazy, bro. Complete loser behavior. I never seen something like this. And yeah, I've had other stories as well of people in the team, but yeah, this was just like so directly doing the opposite of what they said. I've had other people, like we've had people who, we had a warrior that got incredibly good gear on actually the tier where the method disbanded on Archimond, and warriors were insane on Archimond. You may have seen like above Viglund there on the meter, there was warriors. They were fucking crazy, and also they did the damage that was also like really good as well, because you had to kill this ad, and they were destroying that ad. And that guy, we had the best geared warrior in the world. We geared him up, and then he sold his character. Yeah. He just straight up sold his character. That is... I wish we had Revison Warrior instead, but we did not have it back then. And you might think, well, why do you have this guy in your guild? Rem, my guild back then, was close to a disband before the tier, and we had to recruit people, and we were very, very desperate. I'm very in bold. And what we did, and it was a gamble, and it was a thing that we were forced to do. Nogi back then had a guild called New Horizon or Event Horizon or something, and this was known to be a toxic guild, okay? But we really needed players. And this guild disbanded. And we took, oh, dude, I have to puke almost thinking about it. We took like 10 players from them or something. And guys, like half of these players, complete like problem childs. It was fucking horrible, man, having these people in the team. That Archimond tier, we got the highest world rank, but it was the worst tier of my life. I cannot explain to you how disgusted I was by this. The whole guild atmosphere was complete garbage. You will see in our kill video, there's a guy yelling at us, fuck you, nonstop, because he hated us so much. And even that guy did not quit and sell his character. So, crazy, right? What people do. It is wild. But anyways, yeah, Lazel, not a nice guy. Definitely not.
Ass.
I'm surprised people play with him still. I know he's playing in some guild. I don't know which one. I'm very shocked that anyone wants to be associated with this person. It's also not just this. Like, this guy is just complete weirdo. I'm actually shocked. But who knows? Maybe he changed.
This team has everything, right? They have veterans who have a massive history of getting raced to world first. They have seen the light before, and now they're free. They're free of corporate overlords. They're free of...
I mean, listen, I would hardly call it corporate overlords, guys. This is a gross exaggeration for sure. Like, I mean, yeah, like back then, 2015, like even now, like, I mean, it's like, it's still very, very casual, I guess you could say. We're all gamers at the end of the day. Like, it wasn't like a corporate environment at all, really. Yeah.
Chasing money as a factor, and they can just gain.
Like, it was just honestly like friends and like fellow players like playing a game. Like, it was
bound to win, right? No. In May 2017, Serenity disbanded, having never achieved that world first that they had fought so hard for. So what happened?
Let's start with Serenity. They had an absolutely stellar roster of players. However, you old schoolers will remember the raid drought of Hellfire Citadel. Archimonde fell for these guys in July 2015. We didn't get a new raid tier until September 2016.
That's wild, actually.
That is actually wild. Yeah, holy shit, I didn't realize this. But I guess this was the perfect time for us to do the merge and grow and get stronger, you know? It's like the word gave us extra time. That's crazy.
I had actually forgotten how long a gap this had been, guys. This is actually crazy to think about. But obviously during that time, of course, Method was able to rebuild quite a bit, which I guess obviously wasn't bad for us at the time.
Over a year of nothing to do. It was a dark time for us all. Over that time, Serenity lost at least 4 of their world first level healers. Over the time Serenity played, you will notice strange names appear in their raid frames. I won't say who, but one of these was the infamous mage Kuznam, now playing a healer to cover the losses.
Yeah.
It is widely known that at the world first level, healers are insanely hard to come by. And Kuznam's
That is actually true, by the way, guys. Healers are really, really difficult to find in the race world first. Like, getting good healers is really, really difficult.
And he was healing and raid leading as well, which is just... It's not something you want to do. Because... could you up the sound? Yeah, I can probably still. But it's not something you want to do because... like, with as DPS... If there's a tough moment to raid lead, you can always sacrifice DPS, and it's fine. But when you sacrifice healing, and like other people can make up for it, when you sacrifice healing, there's not that many people that can make up for your healing, especially if, you know, you need to pop CDs and stuff. And you often need to pop CDs when shit's going on. And you can't like pick when you want to blast and pick when you can go autopilot healing that much. So it's kind of crazy that he was raid leading. Weekland PoE, my view was used to learn, I was not asked. Holy moly. I don't know if you have to be asked actually, but I don't know the rules about this. I'm sure Preach would ask typically. Maybe if it's like really short, he doesn't use it. I don't know. Me raiding as a tank is the most chill. Yeah, raiding as a tank is apparently not that hard. I have never really done it though. I think it's often when you're off tanking, especially, there's nothing to do. But yeah, I don't know. I think range DPS is the easiest, but a lot of tanks tend to be raid leaders as well, so maybe there's something to it. I wouldn't want to do it as a tank. I would prefer to do it as a range DPS.
Well, it's something that we...
Because sometimes the tanks have to do crazy stuff in fights, and sometimes they're full vaping. I don't like that inconsistency. Whereas as ranged, if there's something to do at a time, you can assign someone else to it, worst case. Like there's other range to pick from more often.
I've actually worked years on really with Method, recently even.
time at post, he mentioned that in Serenity...
Oh wait, that's interesting actually. Let me go back. So this is Kuznam's leaving post, guys. Like disbanding post with Serenity. I remember here, look, let's see. To end it off with, thank you to Method for the motivation you brought since we split up, and thank you for our times back in the day before we ditched. Props to you, Sko, for building the brand you've always talked about. I've been in it, and I want to give you a massive kudos of respect to you for not burning out.
Of course, he's reading the part where he's praising him. Dude.
Like this,
I love Sko.
I remember reading this, guys, when Kuznam posted the statement all those years ago, and it was really nice to hear. Like, big respect to Kuznam for saying this.
That is true. To be fair.
Yeah, a true competitor, like bowing out. That was very respectful for sure. Yeah, really appreciated that.
Mentioned that in Serenity's...
That is actually surprising that Kuznam wrote that. I do think that the rivalry was insane, and he ended things on a good note. That's quite interesting. This is the last one of these. I want to give a shout out to my friends that I met through Swarfest, particularly Leeds, Roger Brown. All hates about your poaching aside. Bottom, Pragnus, Mike, Ted, Vodari, Ashwell, and of course. Interesting. Yeah, Kuznam out. Feels bad, man.
Yeah, really appreciated that.
Yeah.
Mentioned that in Serenity's short lifespan, they had over 50 members of the
Yeah, it's actually funny, guys, that they mentioned this here. Like
I don't get this from you. Is Method on the come? Does that mean like Method is improving right now? He's talking about the first fall of Method. It's just a historical point. I mean, after this, Method fell again. Like it's not even. It's not about right now. It's about history.
sponsors that they've had as well with Serenity, because like I said, they were quite against like the sponsor stuff originally. But then, you know, over time, I guess everyone changes eventually.
hell. At
when they
one
realised
point,
the-
they even recruited
the need for it, so to
Loz
speak.
of Fat Boss TV. That's how desperate they were.
I'm joking. Loz is easily one of the best healers in the world.
They just couldn't recover that hole. They were exceptional, though.
Dude, I didn't. Damn. Fat Boss. I mean, Alex is casting for us now, guys. If you didn't recognize him, yeah? That's Alex from our show.
That's how desperate
I don't know if
they
he
were.
actually joined
I'm
Serenity
joking.
at all.
Loz is
We did have some talks at some point of recruiting, I think Alex or his friend that also did the Fat Boss videos with him, but it turned out to be always that it didn't happen.
easily one of the best healers in the world.
They just couldn't recover that hole. They
That's his brother Lawrence. Wait, is that actually not Alex? There was lost to play hardcore and Alex to do YouTube content. Oh, okay. Alex looks like he got into a fountain of youth. He looks even younger now. Alex definitely looks better now than before. Yeah, he aged good, dude.
were exceptional, though, achieving World 3rd Xavius, World 2nd Hellier, and World 2nd Gul'dan before disbanding. What made it really bad, though, was on Hellier and on Xavius, they were beaten by none other than Method?
Yeah, this was an incredible comeback.
Oh, indeed, dude. But the crazy thing is that they beat us on Gul'dan and then they disbanded. And in a way, guys, back then my mentality was a bit different. You might think it's toxic, but I really wanted my competitors to give up. That's like, I don't know, my brain worked in a way that I wanted to do as little as possible to win. I think it comes from my like school times, okay? Back then, like, I always try to do the least amount of effort to get the most out of life. This was the case for work, for school, for university, and like for example, there was something that I needed a score for. It was like I needed like the average of like 2.5 on my grades, and I got exactly 2.5 because I didn't want to do extra. Like I hated this. I wanted to do as little as possible because with my extra time, I wanted to just game, you know. But even in gaming with WoW, I didn't want to do the boring stuff, and I wanted to do as little boring stuff as possible to win. So I just wanted to like barely win. That was like my only goal. And if my competitors disband, I need to work less. It would still be tight the race because I would just put less effort. That was like a massive thing to me. It was my life, you know, not life goals, but my main like principle in life, my way of life, you could say. That changed after that quite a bit nowadays. But yeah, so I was trying to have Serenity disband, and then they wouldn't, and then they beat us, and then they disbanded. I was tilted actually, but I was a bit like surprised, like what the fuck. But yeah,
Back indeed. Like there was, yeah, definitely one for the history books.
How in the hell did Method lose its entire roster and then the very next raid tier beat that previous roster? And do you know what made it infinitely worse, to pour salt in that wound? When Method did overtake Serenity, Sko sent them this.
Oh my god.
yeah, this is a good one.
Oh, yeah, that tweet, guys. The gif of the Warcraft movie where he offers his hand and then he pulls it away.
I remember it's either that we spoke about this tweet before he sent it or something. It was crazy. I I really wanted this out as well, yeah. Because back then the rivalry was insane, like I said, right? I'm getting flamed all the time that we're not real Method and all of that. I never said we are real Method, to be clear, either. But yeah, I wanted this out there, let's say.
I remember like talking on Method's like TeamSpeak back in the day about whether I should post this or not.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I did remember it right, exactly.
But most people thought it would be funny. But it was definitely an iconic moment for sure.
So let's leave Serenity and look at what Method did. Sko went on the hunt immediately, and as it turns out, a chance meeting at an airport between Sko and the raid leader of the then World 6 Guild Rapid Eye movement would change everything.
Oh.
After messages have been passed between a lot of potential
Wait,
an
did I
airport between
misunderstand?
Sko and the raid leader of the then World 6
Oh, I did not meet Sko at an
Guild
airport.
Rapid Eye movement would change everything. After messages have been passed between a lot of potential guilds, the Rapid Eye movement guild
That's actually not 100% true, right? Like, I actually didn't meet Scripe at the airport. I met Zerps, who was an officer.
How can they all be so wrong, man? That's crazy. What? He met Pemil. Oh my god, this is wild, bro. What are they talking about? Oh, Sko corrects this? Okay. Wait, no, he corrects it in a bad way. This is the correction? This is wrong. Okay, so what happened is Syrups saw Sko's tweet and told it to us, to the officers, that Pemil is in the same airport. Because, again, with my competitors disbanding, I was like, ooh, let's go. We were very aware that Method is disbanding. And also Paragon had disbanded. So we were like, yeah, dude, this is Rem's time to shine. So we were already getting hyped. And then we noticed Method, like Sko, is at the same airport as Pemil. Now, the crazy story that's going to be 100% missing in this video, guys, and this is the juicy stuff as well. Pemil was flying to Dubai. That's why he was in the airport. And this was going to be the first sponsorship for Rapid Eye Movement, which ended up paying us officers for a long time. Not a lot, but something. And this was the first time we were going to get regularly paid. But that remained a secret for a very long time, let's say. It was you know, it happened as we merged with Method, in a way. Have you played with Valkyrie on Rem? There's a Shadow Priest, I think. No, oh, you mean the healer? Yeah, of course. Valkyrie, yeah. I think he was Russian or something. He had a thick accent, dude. He liked to flame people up. He was a bit like Perfecto. Maybe he was Greek, actually. I don't know. One of them. Any significance to the name Ram? I don't know what you mean with any significance. Paying the officers. Yeah, it was mainly... the guild got some money from that as well, actually. Yeah, now that I remember it. It was actually a lot that the guild got as well. But it's just not the players getting them. It all got collected into a pot, I think. And then after the tier, we gave it to people, I think. If I remember it correctly. I'm not sure. Doesn't salute if you went more hardcore. I don't know. I never knew how good Slutbag is. I was always told that he's not that good. Like, not like War First level good. But I don't know. He always seemed good to me when I watched the streams. But that is what I was told, which is also why we always ended up not recruiting him. I wanted to recruit him oftentimes, but people always said, yeah, he's not that good. I don't know. I'm actually surprised that we never gave him a trial, at least. I guess it's also because he was from NA as well, maybe. Oh, Chris, what's up? After the reaction continues. Yeah. Dude, it's crazy that both of them got it wrong. I saw a tweet where Preach said, like, I am to blame for this or something. I never told him that I was on an airport with Sko. What would I do in Copenhagen airport? I think it was Copenhagen.
In Rapid Eye Movement.
Guild seemed receptive to a possible guild merger. Their leader, known as Scripe, happened to be passing through the same city as Sko. And so they met and they had a coffee
So this should
together.
be Zerps.
In that conversation,
It should be fucking Pamel, man. God damn it.
it was decided that Rapid Eye Movement would indeed move and change name to Method, bringing their players you may know like Deep Shades, Revez, Narcales, Noggy.
Deep Shades also was not in Rapid Eye Movement. He was in Serenity. So, oh wait, actually. Okay, this is a bit complicated. Deep Shades left basically as soon as we killed Archimond and went to Method, where he tried for like 1 or 2 weeks, and then the disband happened, he went to Serenity. But when we merged with Method, Deep Shades was not in our team. He was already gone.
Potter, amongst many others with him. Method, of course, offered management, money, and a chance at moving to the big show.
Again, they did not offer us management or money. But in fact, I don't even know what Method offered us. I think it was just a name, honestly. It was just a brand. It was mainly the fact that we can say we're going for world first now. Because there was like this mental block in our team that like we're playing good, we're playing to improve, but are we going for world first? No, we're not going for world first. And I think that is the thing that helped us the most with Method, which is, and also, I don't know, maybe Sko knows better. I actually don't remember. Like, what did Method offer us back then? I don't know. I think the big main asset was Roger and his experience, but like I remember even discussing which name we should go with, Rem or Method, and I really wanted to keep the Rem name, but then you know, I remember like like everyone was fine to swap to Method, and I was like, yeah, I want to think about this, and I thought about it quite a bit, and it just, even though I really didn't want to leave the name behind, I just understood a Method name is way bigger, and it just makes sense to swap to Method. But trying to understand what they offered us. Yeah, I think it was just, I mean, it wasn't about money back then. Even though we were gonna start making money, I don't know, maybe there was some money involved. I don't remember though. I don't think so. I think it was just about getting world first, and that naming us Method will attract more good players. I think that was it. And like we can go for world first with that. Also with Paragon and Method disbanding, or like at least Serenity happening. Yeah, like it was an easier path, let's say. Corsair equipment. Man, I don't even think I got Corsair equipment. That's crazy, or no, I don't think I got anything. I mean, maybe eventually, but did I have any Corsair gear? I don't think so, dude. I don't know. Roger offered you Greek cuisine. Did you see the new Destiny expansion coming out? I did not see anything about the expansion. No, I do want to look at that. On the 15th of this month? Holy fuck. There's so much to do, guys. Maybe I just played the expansion. I don't know. You got a big opportunity to grow. Yeah, not in terms of like a business thing though. Yeah, we did get the chair. That's true. At some point we got a chair. I don't know when it was, but yeah. I think it just was the 4 good players as well as their experience and the branding that we can say we're gonna go for world first now. We're fucking serious about it. Come join our team, because we had struggles, what do you call it, staying alive before, right? Because we lost players and stuff like that. It was really hard to push into the world first scene back then. And probably still is now. But I wonder what would have happened if he didn't like merge with Method. That would be an interesting path as well. I have no idea. Yeah, that would be interesting. You'd have an office job. I don't know. I don't necessarily think so. I don't know. You work as a dev at this point. I mean, in a way, it may have been much better for me as well if I was working an office job. But I don't know. That's an alternate universe I would love to see, though. Like have a quick look, you know. But yeah, it was a very interesting turning point of my life for sure, doing this merge. Well, let's see.
And it turned out this Scripe guy was pretty good at raid leading, and he seemingly had an immediate connection with Roger Brown.
That's very
they'll be
right.
friends one day. In the Trial of Valor, the new Method Guild got their first world first.
Anything you have, boys. Last ones. Anything you have.
Even back then, the same calls. Anything you have.
Good memories, guys. Nice at showing Noggy POV as well, guys. He's still in Method now.
At the end of it all,
This, guys, I was so happy with my performance on this raid, actually. This was Surrender to Madness and, what do you call it? Raid leading at the same time. And I was so sad to see on the kill video, they just blasted music and you could barely hear my raid leading. What was actually so good. I was so proud of myself after killing this video. It was really hard to raid lead and play Surrender to Madness as Shadow. As you see, I did die a bit early. I did not have the legendary belt on this. So it was really tough. And still was good raid leading. Like, we had some big fails. And I had to like raid lead the shit out of it on certain times. I remember the call purple, purple, purple. We had to agree because we fucked it up so many times that I had to say it 3 times. And I was like so focused. I wouldn't just say it like with my normal voice. Okay, guys, go purple, purple, purple now. I would have like, I would speak normal, right? Okay, now we're gonna go to purple, purple, purple. There was like, fucking do it, you know? Holy shit. It was tough calling where to go every time during Surrender. But this was an intense battle, dude. And then the world first on top felt good.
got their first world first.
Anything you have, boys. Last ones. Anything you have.
Good memories, guys.
Of course I miss playing, but I don't miss the stress too much, I'm not gonna lie.
Nice at showing Noggy POV as well, guys. He's still in
After
I
a
went
decisive victory from their former guild, many of those same
Hey, look, it's Fragment's a statement, guys. Hashtag score wasn't the problem.
players would end
The meme Sko wasn't the problem, by the way, or was the problem, was that Sko was like a bad player or something, which is why, you know, they want to replace him as a tank or something like that. Sko wasn't an amazing player, I'm not gonna lie, but he wasn't a bad player either. Didn't you run like 3 shadows or more a kill? Spell? Yeah, I think we ran 4. Yeah, we had 4. That was crazy. Bad UI for sure. That's true. Wasn't a meme that he did not put enough work in compared to the rest. Yeah, but also there was also a skill attached to it as well. Definitely. I was always being asked like, oh, is Scope playing good or not? You know, what's going on here? Because people say this stuff. Is there a even because of Scope and the money? You know, it was definitely also skill related back then. There's so many first. He was good. There was definitely like back then in Method when they were still there. There was like rumors that Sko was also a bad player that they wanted to replace, but they couldn't, type of shit. And to a degree, it's probably because he didn't put in the time. You know, when you're clueless about what you're doing, obviously you play bad. But yeah, the UI was also memed for a while. Yeah, true. The UI also got memed a lot. So the top players on the roster at that time. Top players in the Method roster, I don't know. I think like Jimmy was really known to be really good. I don't know who else, but in Echo, Jake was really good. Shalaria was really good, but then he did us dirty, and I never forgave him. He quit. I think he quit before. No, he quit as an expansion release or something. He was a really good player, one of our best players, and I got very tilted when he left. I think at some point he tried to like return to the scene and stuff, but like he knew I hated him in a way almost. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why I got even that angry. Honestly, it wasn't. Maybe there was something else to it, but I don't remember. Kahira, yeah. How do you guys know? Crazy. Yeah. Grudge holder scribe. Yeah, I did hold a grudge. I don't know why. But I think about it now. Like, I don't have anything right now that I feel strongly about, but back then I was very angry. I think it's probably the same style as Lazelle. I'm not sure. That like we may have asked him if he's okay to go for the next tier, and if he said yeah, back then. Okay, so that is a lesson we learned in BlackRock Foundry, I think it was called. We once did not ask people if they are gonna play next year, if everything is good, because things got more competitive. More and more people started quitting the closer we went to the race start, and that's why we almost disbanded in Archimont, because we didn't ask, and then suddenly within a month we had like 5-6 people quit, and that fucked us up real good, and we had to suddenly recruit, and then the Noggy thing happened, and we got all the shit players with him. Noggy was good, but there was a lot of shit, and Narco as well, but there was a lot of other people that weren't good, or like they were toxic. And after that, every tier I asked, are you good for the next year? I was like 2 months before the race or 3 months, I would ask, okay, are you good for next year? Do you have any exams coming up? Do you have any like job or anything? What are you going to be doing next year? I would always ask everything and make sure they are good for the next year. And I think that probably happened with Kahira, and then he quit. And I think he didn't quit out of necessity. He just didn't want to play and quit, which, yeah, is obviously very disrespectful when so many people are putting in effort. Like, if you want to do that, you just say that ahead of time, right? When I ask about it. I think he quit in a really bad way, basically. Yeah. I think he tried returning to the scene at some point, but knew I really disliked him and did not manage. Or I don't know where he is now. He was very good, though. He was... I think he may have been like our best player back then, yeah. Just vanished like that. Never do or lie about it in my experience. When I asked people, I had way better success rate than when I did not ask. Incredibly better. I think he was the only guy that quit like this. Maybe Phil was the other guy. Yeah, never had a person quit close to a tier after we started saying these things and double checking. Wait for Revis in the tier list of best player. Revis is really good, but the problem is he lacks communication. That's his weakness, his like Achilles heel, if you can say. It will always limit his potential. So he is, I would say, like capped at what he can do right now. He is the best at what he's doing right now. To reach the next level, he needs to communicate He needs to give input on strategies. He needs to help the team in a way, or potentially like communicate about like getting an external here. I mean, nowadays you have macros for it, I guess. But let's say he's assigned to do a job, and then he needs a backup. He needs to say, "I need a backup." You know, things like this. And he does some of it sometimes, very rarely. But for that next level of gameplay, that's what he would need. I joined a high mall, by the way. Wait, Narco joined a high mall? Really? I don't remember this. Were you in New Horizon either, Narco? I just remember Narco blasting on the DK on this tier. That's all I remember. Oh, no, not this tier. On the Archimod, I mean. That's all I remember. Well, Narco, I don't remember, dude. I don't know who that is. Must be a different guy. Who do you say is your best overall contributor within the raid team? Tag 60 PS play, everything combined. I mean, it's probably was Roger back then. Not the first tier, but not for the prep of the first year, but after that, always Roger, yeah, I would say. But if I don't need to count him, I mean, I don't know. Then it gets crazy a bit. I mean, nowadays it's Maris, of course, right? He does a lot of like the in-game rate leading and organizing, kind of stuff. Narco's the dude who always comes with the beer to party, you know, he's the guy. No, Narco's the guy that doesn't go to the party, bro. He's at home chilling, gaming. I mean, same as most of us, honestly.
Good memories, guys.
Okay, holy shit, we talked a lot.
Nice.
I forgot about the video
as well, guys. He's still in method now.
At the end of it,
When Maris, I remember first Maris appearance I remember was on the Tentacle boss N'Zoth, but maybe he joined before. I'm not sure. He was playing Hunter on N'Zoth. That's all I remember first.
all after a decisive victory from their former guild, many of those same
Hey, look, it's Fragment's statement, guys. Hashtag score wasn't the problem.
Wait, I watched this.
where
When did
they
I go
start
back?
as the dominant world first guild,
Oh my god. Holy shit.
at least for now.
Dude, that was
For now,
creepy.
guys, for now.
So why then did they accept all these players back who had left en masse just 7 months ago? There's a good lesson for us all here. Permanently burning bridges because of a spat or an incident, especially over minor things that happened months ago, isn't a particularly great idea.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's actually... There's no reason why we wouldn't accept back players into Method for the most part. Like, me personally, I don't really hold, like, grudges, so to speak, or, like, I think it's, like, just in general, I don't really hold, like, a hate or, like, dislike towards people. I think it's, like, really unhealthy just from, like, your own personal mindset side of things. And for the most part, like, most of the players, you can understand why they left, right? Like, originally to join Serenity. It's because, obviously, the raid leader and some of the core... people that are associated with.
I would say nowadays, yeah, as well. But like I said, those cases, Kahira, Lazelle, the guy that sold his warrior, I don't even remember his name. I don't know. Like, these kind of people. There was this one guy, bro. Oh my god. I don't want to name his name even, guys, because I don't want him to find me again. Fucking crazy guy, okay? Like, the first thing, he enters our guild, he was linking porn. So fucking weird. I was the weirdest guy, and I'm glad we removed him very quickly. It was very disgusting. This guy was also, I think, later on, was like DDoSing people or something. Was that him? I think he went to prison at some point as well. I don't know, bro. It was some crazy fucking weirdo. And yeah, got rid of him. So now, I mean, now I wouldn't invite back either. Yeah, that's true. That's true, to be fair. But most of these people, I would say, is from back then. Nowadays, people, most of the time, are more normal. I don't remember, like, incredibly unprofessional people. Leaking porn equals no. No, he was not leaking porn. I think he was watching it on his YouTube. That's why he got banned, right? It was weird. But yeah. We were unhinged back in the day. Not really, man. It was just some people were. And the majority was quite normal.
At the level they want to play at. So like no issue really with like the individual players who left. It's understandable. It obviously really sucked, and it made me feel like terrible, of course, but it is what it is. Yeah.
Especially when the landscape around those frustrations has changed. Let's take the obvious example, streaming. It is a relatively new hobby, but 7 months later, it was taking off in a big way.
Yeah, this changed so much, guys, over time. You would not believe it. Like, the resistance in the guild to streaming and creating content completely changed. Like, I guess that's also because it was a new guild, right? Like, Method was new at that point in time, but obviously the guys in Serenity adapted to that as well, most of them over time as well. Like, the mindset around streaming and creating content and working with sponsors, working with brands, like, it took people a lot longer to catch up to what was going on than would have been ideal, obviously, in like the rating scene, but ultimately everyone did. So big shout out, I guess, to some of the guys who were a little bit earlier in the adoption and actually did, want to create content and do streaming and whatnot. Like I said, it wasn't always the easiest time for them back in the old Method, like pre-Serenity. Like, there was definitely some pretty unfair behavior towards some of those people. Yeah.
And frankly, some of these players were really good at it and enjoyed it and were having a lot of fun with it. So the idea of streaming the race was not as big of a deal anymore. On top of that, you're aiming for world first, the pinnacle of the pinnacle in a game with millions of players.
Man, I wish I could say things, but I can't. Sadly, on some of these things, maybe more to say when I'm growing old, guys. I'm trying to think like, no, I just can't say it. Still under NDA, it would not be good. Yeah, unfortunate.
Exactly. So
exactly. Holy shit, he's listening. Yeah, no. I don't know anything.
And that was it, right? In the end, guys, like that's also
That's
a core
all.
part of this, right? Like, I wanted to make sure that Method was going to be world first, like going forward. Like that was like my ultimate goal. Like, was the competitive performance of the guild. Like, and so that was a big part of it, right? Because if we had the best players, we were able to keep the best players around, and we were also able to monetize in some way that we could also compensate the players, which means they wouldn't want to leave to other teams, or they wouldn't want to quit the game, or like lots of things really. Like, it was just all a case of really trying to make sure that Method was able to support the best players and support the best guild. Yeah. And actually, it's worth saying too, guys, I guess, that just in general, I will say that one of the thing I'm probably proudest about with Method, like in everything that we've done over like the 20 years of a Method existing, is that we have been able to support like a lot of people in the WoW scene, and other games too, but mostly the WoW scene, like in regards to like a lot of the biggest streamers that you even see today, for example, on Twitch, they were in Method at some point in their early days, and we were able to obviously help them turn their passion into like their full-time thing, and that's something that I'm really proud of, that we were able to do, and I'm glad that we were able to do that.
Refusing the best of the best.
Yeah, it's a bit weird though. I mean, it's true to a degree, but it's not like Method is doing this just out of their own like charitability or whatever. Like I said, there was back then the deals with Twitch that Twitch invested into teams for whatever reason. They didn't sponsor single influencers; they sponsored teams and gave teams watch minute deals. That when teams invited people to their team and they streamed, Method was getting money off of that they then could use to pay the streamer. And what you would do typically is, let's say, I get here Jack Dipper into my team. He streams, I don't know, X amount of watch minutes he gets from his viewers, and in total, let's say he earned 1K this month. I'll give him 800 Jack the Ripper is fucking happy as fuck. There's no way he would get this deal anywhere else. And I'm getting the 200 extra. And if I keep doing this, I mean, that's a good deal. Where I only get 20%. You know, I might get a lot more, by the way. But yeah, basically, it was. And in fact, some of the deals were also structured in a way where I would check Jack the Dipper's viewership. I wouldn't pay him per watch minute. I would just say, this guy is getting 500 viewers per month. And if I think he's even going to grow, I could tell him, well, I'm going to give you, 500 per month, same as your viewership, or not even mention the viewership part. And he's getting free 500, so he will be super happy. Joins my org. I'll keep him at the 500, even if he grows. So it was very good place to have a Twitch contract. I don't know when Method got it, but I think they had it when we did the first race already. So it's when people started streaming. So yeah, I would say Twitch is the ones that could be proud, I guess, of this. I don't think it's so much Method, even though I don't want to trash talk Method or anything, but it is the truth. It was Twitch paying the money mainly for these streamers. Do you, with Max's point, that both EU and A have funneled talent into one team in each region, and that one of the big reasons why Method hangs on in a 2-horse race is due to SCO just refusing to let the org die? To a degree, yeah. I mean, this is a big part of it, yeah. Even though it's a bit weird, I think we both at times had a lot of talent from each, like from the other region as well. But yeah, it's kind of crazy that Method is still alive. That is true. Considering everything that happened. The thing with Method is whenever it's really interesting. So when Method falls, they, instead of giving up, they fucking dance in the mud and get themselves out of it in some fucking way. So you'll have like big drama. Method loses all their sponsors. And then you would think they would try to improve their image, right? But what they do instead is they sign a crypto sponsor. So, and you're like, damn, they don't give a fuck. And because people's expectations of them are so low, people don't even mind it. We're like, yeah, that's Method. It's to be expected. All good. So it's kind of crazy. But I mean, it's also like respectable. They make it work, right? It's tough. So it's all good. Speaking from your high horse. What type of high horse? No, I mean, it's crazy that Method managed this so far. It's definitely crazy. Like there are certain sponsors we couldn't even take, even if we wanted to, because people have just higher expectations of us. Goes a ruthless businessman with all the good and bad that comes with it. Yeah, I mean, in the end, a lot of these things I don't care. Like I don't think it's that bad or good or whatever. But Method is very good at making questionable things work somehow. Let's say. So much corporate BS coming from Method. I don't know what you mean with corporate BS. Buy sponsorships. I mean, we had the sponsorship as well, to be fair, with Kidia. But yeah, the Method one was bigger, yeah. As an example. But also they, I was thinking of the crypto sponsor they had. And also they had the whole crypto community Twitter or something, right? They didn't give a shit and they made it work. I'm guessing they made some money off of that, you know? Nothing, I don't care. We take a gambling sponsor. Surprising. This is the second time someone asked me. No, we do not take gambling sponsors. At the same time, I do want to mention that I don't mind streaming on Kick, because I don't see that as a gambling sponsor. Okay, as long as there are no gambling ads, which like I remember a lot of people were flaming Tips. That's why I'm saying this. Tips said like that he will never take gambling sponsors at OTK, and then they started now doing events on Kick as OTK. And I don't see anything wrong with this. If there's no gambling ads, I don't have a problem with it. I know some people do. And I don't care. I thought about it quite a bit. I don't have a problem with it. If you have like a really convincing argument, you can DM me. I don't think I will get convinced. You gotta be real good with that. I could take a gambling sorcery, we would lose 50% of the rosters to slots. Yeah, I know some people would not mind gambling. It's just that's more my personal thing that I don't want it. I also don't want betting. Yeah. I don't want anything where you put in money that is RNG based. I mean, I guess betting is a little bit different, but I would really not want it. Let's say it would be tough to convince me on that one because I see it as the same thing. But gambling, definitely not. It's a video. It's a video. I beg. We're so close, guys. We're so close. Betting is haram. Anyone that promotes it, I take distance from. That's right, brother. Lots of criminals are working on bets. Again, like this sort of thing, I don't care about. If someone is criminal on working on bets, like, what does that even mean? Why would I care about this? Let me just link to some videos or a new Destiny expansion on Discord DM. Yeah, dude, hit me up. Rhino. Promoting betting and gambling these days and kids getting addicted is fucking disgusting. Yeah. No, I don't even care about the kids so much. I care about myself. I just don't want to get involved with gambling. Yeah. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I don't want to like put shit all over my face. Why would I do that? Like, I don't care that you guys, it discusses you guys. It discusses me, you know? That's what I'm thinking. Also, method winning the next race would be interesting. Yeah, I think people wouldn't want to bet on it, let's say. But there will be some hardcore fans that just want to believe, which, you know, anything can happen during a race. Crazier things happened. So.
Proven, seasoned players, not a particularly good idea. And so, these guys were still playing together. They might not have been in the same guild, but with Mythic Plus coming in Legion, a lot of crossover was still happening behind the scenes.
Yeah. Also, I want to just share an observation that I've had as well, guys, that you don't really realize when you're like super young. But it's kind of Preach kind of mentioned it a little bit here too. You don't realize that the people like that you interact with, like or the industry or like the environment that you operate in, it's a lot smaller than you think. Like the same
That's
people
true.
will often be around for a long time to come, and so you know it's relationships and treating people like well and whatnot is really important, because you never know like when you're going to be like playing with them again.
Yeah, it's weird. It's actually a good thing to be a good person. But also at the same time, I noticed this, and this was a really tough lesson. Even if you try to be as fair and good as you want to be, like do your very best, you do the most possible thing, you will still get haters. Guaranteed. That is a lesson that I thought I learned, and I was very shocked when it happened. And yeah, that's just how it is. Because at times, like being fair means to be not so nice to some people. Yeah, it's a wild thing. People don't want fair. People want the best for themselves. Yeah, and they can't like really understand the full picture. They just think of their own POV. They don't even think it's unfair that they want things for themselves. They just don't see it from another perspective, which makes sense if you're just being a player, doing your own things. But it looks very different when you're managing everyone and you kind of know what everyone is doing. Treating everybody the same isn't always fair. Yeah, I never said that. It's a good thing. That's because a greater good is not always aligned with everyone's agenda. Yeah. I mean, I'm not necessarily the greater good. Yeah, so it's also like a philosophical thing, right? Are you trying to create the most amount of happiness, or are you like, because yeah, that's not necessarily the best thing, right? Like in a way. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I mean, that's like whole philosophy. I think it's called utilitarianism. I remember this back in the days in philosophy class, dude. It was I don't go that deep, let's say. More often the decisions are quite clear. It's rare that it's a gray zone too much, because we're not like killing a child to save 1 million people or something, right? Like we're kicking a person from the team, guys. It's not a big fucking deal, yeah. In relation to what is possible out there, but yeah, still people have big problems sometimes with things. And it's not even just like having a problem with your thing. Sometimes people just have like a personal problem with you, even though you don't think you did something wrong. Or they misinterpret what you said in the worst possible way. I remember back then when we lost the race to Limit, and a big factor was that, I mean, it was the biggest factor, I would say, was that Max was really leading from outside, right? That I was like saying, okay, guys, I think it's going to be my last year because this outside reading shit is OP. Especially that year where I was also doing a lot of assignments and stuff in the team, and I was holding up the people from pulling. If you guys remember the nice pull, like, and then there was like the Vine Pepega, let's take a break or something like this. That was created because I was sitting there making assignments. And I said, yeah, this is kind of meta breaking, and yeah, like I don't think I'm going to be playing, and you know, whatever, all this stuff. And somehow, and this got misinterpreted that I was saying that Limit didn't play good. They just had the outside raid leader. That's why we lost, which is not what I said at all. I don't even know who played good on like an individual level. I don't care about it either. I don't think it has any meaning because it matters about how good you play and how good you progress as a team. It's not just about pressing buttons. It never was. But I was like being hated by some Limit people back then because I said these things. It was never meant it in that way, but you know, sometimes people just hate you. I don't know. It's weird. I don't even know how we got here.
Again, or working with them again.
Oh yeah, in the small scene. Yeah, that is definitely true. You'll be like parting ways with someone, thinking they're just gone, and then suddenly they pop up as in a completely different place. So always good to, and that's a really good thing, that being good is actually rewarding. Because otherwise everybody would be, a lot more people would be doing shady shit. When thinking about it, why wasn't it also a thing from the very start if it is so good? It's mainly because nobody wanted to do it. Did nobody ever think about it for a mission menu optimization and you could implement today? Think about it like this, right? It was not about money so much back then. It was about gaming. So being an outside raid leader is very boring in comparison to playing. And in fact, like, it was a weird thing that if you were benched, like let's say if Shadow Priest was benched, I would not watch people play. I would just go AFK. Like, it's a different time, different thing. But we were thinking about it before, because there was a times where I was like dead on a fight and the raid leading was really good. Especially towards like the end of the fight, sometimes, you know, you would have more and more people dead, and sometimes I was dead, and I was noticing, damn, my raid leading is really sick when I'm on the floor. And we did consider it, but we never made that move because I mainly didn't want to either. But also we didn't know how good it will be, honestly. And then we noticed, yeah, this is probably really good. And it was a sponsor tournament for first events, Esports tournament in a stadium. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's we need a lot of things, dude. Let's go a big part of what Race Rover is now. Of course, yeah. Mainly on the business side and like this kind of stuff. Not at all on the side of the performance. SCO had very little to do with the way we like made strats or anything like that. But yeah. Rather keep the current echo production. Yeah, people really like the echo production. That's true. I think our casters and our production are all doing a great job. All right, let's go. We're very close to finishing
or
it.
they're going to be in method again. Like, for example, like I mentioned, Fragnet's joined like 4 times. Like, there's so many of like the old guys that you've seen in this video, even like, you know, Noggy, Zalia, and co, that are actually back in method now. You know what I mean? So it's really important to keep that in mind. Like, yeah, you don't want to burn bridges. You want to treat everyone with respect and treat everyone well as best you can.
And they were more than welcomed back after a little bit of a conversation. It's a good thing to happen. However, knowers know. This wasn't to be the last mass exodus from Method, but that is a story for another time.
Whew.
Until then, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time.
Overall, by the way, I think this is a really good video from Preach. Like, I actually really appreciate Preach doing these legacy videos. Like, I know that he did one about like the world first legit kill on Vash, like back in the day in TBC. I do think this is a good video, so big shout out to Preach for doing this. Like, in general, like most of the information in this video is mostly accurate, I would say, with a lot of missing context, of course, right, and some maybe some oversimplifications of certain things, but obviously from him being on the outside for the most part, I think he did a pretty good job in regards to putting this video together. Yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed watching the Preach video, and I thought I would add a little bit of additional commentary, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that too.
It was good.
And I'll see you guys on either the next video.
Oh, this was a standalone video. It wasn't him streaming this. Oh, crazy. Okay. I did not expect that. Ghost Date's time last part. Yeah. It's this first one was nothing compared to the next one, I would say, yeah. Because obviously it was a lot more intricate. Yeah. We'll do part 2, Priest Incident. I don't even know if Preach will do the part 2. That would be an interesting thing, but it would be very hard to do it justice, I would say, because there's a lot of information that is lost, and you don't want to be giving missing info there because it's very important. You say it probably will. Very delicate issue. I don't know. Yeah, I would say it's he needs to do it good if he's gonna do it. To be sensitive to people involved. Yeah, that as well. Like, it's just a lot of things. I left it very much as a cliffhanger at the end of this video. That's true. That's true. That would get views though. We're debating how to handle all ninja. Kind of chunky. Chris is here in the chat. It's a very different show. Oh, you typed this. Yeah, it is. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, you don't want to make things seem a certain way that they aren't potentially, and it's really hard to do that without knowing everything, and it's impossible to know everything because a lot of it is in the background, in private places, and shadows, and Discord DMs. So it's I don't know, very rough.